for that reason, that moment, that thing, that that doesn't cause you goosebumps, that doesn't, get you going and get your mind racing, and not to cause an anxiety attack or to cause some sort of anxiety, but the fact of the matter is, the one thing that gets you thinking that you know this better than anybody else, that you know what you're talking about, that you know what you're thinking, that you know the right way to go, that you know the right thing to do, that you know how to make this the biggest thing that you could ever do. And the fact of the matter is, the main thing is that if you don't get excited about something, if you don't show your interest, if you don't show your excitement, if you don't show why it matters, then no one will believe that it does. And the fact of the matter is, I have on more than one occasion, I have on more than one occasion I have on more than one occasion discounted my opinion, discounted my thoughts, discounted my feelings, discounted what I think is important because it wasn't traditional. Playing TEW is anything but traditional because fact of the matter is it is not something that a lot of people know what TEW. A lot of people don't know what TEW is. If anything, they just think it's some game. Like there is no expectation, there is no knowledge, there is nothing to what is TEW other than the people that know what TEW is. And the fact of the matter is, I'm glad I'm one of the few that know. Because one of the main things, one of the only things that I wish that I had the ability to do is to try and figure out a way to integrate TEW a little bit more. It's to integrate TEW a little bit more. It's to understand what the expectation is with this game, what like what we gain from playing this, where we go from starting to finish. And I know I'm talking a lot of gibberish, but I know I there's not really much it's not really much of a story I can tell. There's not really much to say because a lot of the story because a lot of the story is shrouded in why. It's not shrouded in how. And the fact of the matter is, I the fact of the matter is that the fact of the matter is that I don't have anything else. I don't know anything else. I don't, approve of anything else. The one thing that I know, the one thing that I enjoy, the one thing that I love, the one thing that I get the most joy out of is this content creation. That's why at 5:10 I'm sitting here and I'm creating content. I recorded 4 or 5 videos earlier today, and I still had the desire to record more. I still probably will record more between now and my second stream on Twitch, which is going to happen later tonight. But the fact of the matter is, there is nothing that I love more than content creation. So it's the tale of two cities. It's the tale of two towns. It's the tale of two. It's the tale of two. And the fact of the matter is, it makes you wonder is what is going on. It makes you wonder what's next. It makes you wonder where to go. It makes you wonder what to do. It makes you wonder every aspect of it when you see numbers the way you see it on one platform and you see numbers the way you see it on another, and it makes you wonder if you made the wrong decision. It makes you wonder if you made the wrong decision. It makes you wonder if you made the wrong choice. It makes you wonder if the one platform that you decided to go to is the platform that is dying. But all that aside, there is one thing that needs to be said. And the one thing that needs to be said is this: you take from pop culture. The right way to take from pop culture is to learn from it. The wrong way to take from pop culture is to base everything you know on pop culture and base everything that you're about on pop culture and just go from there. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying that if you don't have your own identity and you lose yourself in pop culture, then what are you? I'm gonna stop tight roping around it and say what I'm getting at, because what I'm getting at is in some cases I'm afraid to admit when I don't know what's next. In some cases I'm afraid to admit when I don't know what the right answer is. In some cases I'm afraid to know when I to admit that something's wrong. That I have something on my mind that I just can't let something go. And the fact of the matter is, it does inhibit me from it does inhibit me from the idea of keeping my mind on the goals. It does inhibit me on or from the idea of moving forward because I just, you know, that when you're on the stage in cartoons and they got the big cane that pulls you away off the stage, it just feels like there's that cane that pulls me back and pulls me back and pulls me back. And there's just something that it makes it very hard to want to let go, to want to move forward, to want to leave the past in the past with a wink and a nod and an acknowledgement to know that I know that it's still there, but my demons are not what keeps me from moving forward. Last year, I looked at the opportunity to move because I had every intention of running away. And, you know, and you know, it's something that didn't sink in until the very last minute. And by the very last minute, I mean it didn't sink in until I was confronted by those people or questioned by those people that I was going to move down and be closer to every day when they asked, "Are you still looking at moving down?" And I said, the one mistake I made was looking at the possibility of moving to run from my problems, to run from the demons, to run from the past that had control, instead of trying to fight. It's crazy to know that it's crazy to know that there was a time when I was tired of fighting and was just looking for an easy out. But that was a mistake. What does that have to do with TEW? It goes back to the message that I got from pop culture, from watching TV. It's that when you doubt what you know, you return to one thing that you unquestionably know. And the one thing that I unquestionably know is professional wrestling. To clarify, the Reign of Terror is what Triple H's title reign was called during this time, because for the better part of 2 years, Triple H was the WWE champion. Ironically enough, Chris Jericho was the one that defeated Triple H at Vengeance for the paper for the title. But we are in the ruthless aggression era, and honestly, I want to credit your comment, reality creator, because it brought me back into focusing on this as opposed to whatever's on my mind. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Also, a thank you to Wade Wilson for being our newest subscriber. I appreciate that as well. It is crazy to think that we are moving in gaining such momentum on YouTube that we may actually hit 300 subs before the end of the year. That's honestly something I never thought possible, and I know it's a minor milestone, but it's crazy. It's still crazy. I mean, I know that kind of sounds more like something Rob Van Dam would say in a backstage segment, but Rico's been begging to be featured on programming, so I figured why not put him in a backstage segment with put him in a backstage segment with Landstorm. This is also the second time that I rebooked Raw. The last one should have counted. I don't know why I didn't. This is the second time I rebooked Raw, and I mean, my mind isn't necessarily into it. And I know that it might be something that's excessively simple. Just put your mind into it. It's just a game. Like, who cares? And it's like, no, if it was just a game, then there would be no point to play it. And I know that's like crazy to say, but if it was just a game, there would be no point in playing it. You know what I mean? there would be no point. There would be no point in playing it because if you're just gonna book whatever and have no ideas and no not want to build anything, like what's the like part of the fun is building the story and being the one that decides what happens. And if you're not gonna build a story and decide what happens, then my question is, why even bother? You know what I mean? Why even bother? Because there's no point. There's no point if there's no emotional investment from you, then it will show. It shows, in my opinion. If there is no emotional investment from you, it shows, in my opinion. And the fact of the matter is, that's why my way of playing this game has changed. Statement. Making a clear statement that he wants RVD's gold. Anybody who has seen anybody who has seen um anybody who has seen the any of the previous videos I've done with TEW, specifically with WWE 2004, anybody who's seen those knows that Chase Stevens has been that awkward outlier working in WWE. And the reason is because Chase was supposed to be just a one and done because he was the first person looking through free agency. He was the first person that I saw that had decent chemistry, charisma, that I felt like if I put him in a segment with somebody like Triple H or Ric Flair or Eric Bischoff or somebody like that, then he would be able to carry his own. And lo and behold, he did, and he defied my expectations. So instead of having it be a one and done, I had him be just that nuisance, that guy who's sticking around, who's poking and poking and prodding and trying to get involved and just poking and prodding and pissing off Evolution. Because the start of it was him being introduced by Eric Bischoff or talking to Eric Bischoff in his office, and then Triple H storms in, interrupting the meeting, and Chase Stevens took exception to the lack of respect. So in the coming weeks, he showed the same lack of respect to Evolution, and now, after weeks and weeks and weeks of just going back and forth with Evolution behind the camera, he has been going back and forth. Now he's stepping in the ring for the first time against Batista, and if he beats Batista tonight, then he will get his shot against Triple H whenever Triple H returns, because Triple H is not here tonight after losing the night before to Chris Jericho. And of course, as you guys saw at the outset, Ric Flair took up ire for the Evolution leader, claiming that Jericho does not belong in the main event. You know, if there's anything that I've felt, if there's anything that I felt, it is the fact that 100 times over, WWE is in a period of transition in 2004, and the roster needs rebuilding to the nth degree. The roster needs rebuilding to the nth degree as far as as far as where it's at now in 2004. because there is absolutely nothing that points to the company being in a stable position. There is absolutely nothing that points to the company knowing exactly what's going on and exactly the right direction to go or anything of that nature. It is just the company going through the motions. It's pretty much it. The company's going through the motions, and fact of the matter is, they really have not. They really don't have that stable position to put the company, that stable position to know the company's going to be okay. They're not really in that stable position to know that the company's going to be okay. Because there's nobody around that says the company's going to be okay. I'm going to put you on my back and carry you. I mean, Shawn Michaels has it, but the fact of the matter is, that's it. Just HBK. Get ready for a time machine. And Gangrel jumps Christian. Trish is ready. Challenge Jackie. But Lacey appears with Kong. And again, the point is proven. This time they don't get physical, though. This time they don't get physical, though, and actually, I think the segment will probably do better if I don't have to make them unscripted. Now let's try and work this match out. Let's try and work this match out. Okay. Info. Because then that's going to lead to a disqualification. You don't know how many times I've actually done the replacement ref, and that's led to um, me having to change the initial ref in the match because I used a replacement ref that was already in the match. I had to figure Batista would be pissed. Let's see if Batista will let him go over. I gotta tell a different story. I gotta go. I gotta go a different way with this. And that's, we're going to drop the enhancement aspect of it. We're going to let Batista win. But Batista is going to take it a little too far after the match. And this should play up one of the things that Chase Stevens is good at, selling. And then we're going to pull him. We're going to pull Jericho. And honestly, I think I'm pulling that segment, that story too, and we're going to start fresh with a different story, getting both Batista and Booker T something to do, because that is something that I have been struggling with mightily, and that is Randy's got something to do, Flair's got something to do, Hunter's got something to do, but Batista got nothing. Batista's got nothing. So doesn't stop the beatdown. And proceeds to Pillmanize Chase Stevens. If you don't know what Pillmanizing means, give me a sec, I will explain. Because actually, there might be a segment. No. Okay, so we just gotta keep it the way it is. Um, Pillmanizing is basically what Steve Austin did to Brian Pillman at King of the Ring 1996, where, or was it 97? No, it was 90. It was 97. It wasn't 96. It was 97. Where he basically put the chair over somebody's ankle, and then you break the guy's ankle by jumping off the middle rope and flattening the chair in the guy's ankle, and that's exactly what Batista did to Chase Stevens as a way to write Chase off and make Evolution seem like, Batista seemed like a dangerous monster, and Evolution seemed like assholes for ruining the kid's opportunity. Taking away the kid's opportunity and stunting it. Dusty Rhodes calls out Randy Orton, and Flair informs him that Orton isn't here, and it's for Dusty's best interest. That basically Flair told Randy to let that he knew Dusty, and he knew that Dusty would be here tonight, so he wanted to handle it himself. He wanted to handle it himself. He wanted to be the one to warn Dusty Rhodes, to not get involved. to not get involved, to not take the chance, to not pick the fight, and to leave well enough alone. But Dusty Rhodes is unwilling. Dusty Rhodes is unable to leave well enough alone. And the fact of the matter is, the proof is in the pudding. With Eric Bischoff still on vacation, Shane McMahon is in charge of Raw. And Shawn informs Shane that he wants to be the one representing Raw in the battle for brand supremacy at SummerSlam, and does not want to represent Vince McMahon in his petty fight with The Rock. I haven't decided the type of match that I want. I haven't decided the type of match that I want. Um, so like, you know, at SummerSlam. So I don't know if I want it to be something that maybe we get the first one at SummerSlam and then the next one at WrestleMania next year, or what it is. I'm not entirely sure what I want from WrestleMania yet. I mean SummerSlam yet. But what I do know is Shawn Michaels will be the one on the Raw side representing the brand at SummerSlam. So easiest way to set up the main event. Easiest way to set up a main event. Because honestly, I don't know what type of main event I wanted. So I'm just going the easiest route to set up something. And that is something unexpected. Because, like I said, we got to do what we can. Is jumped by the Dobbins brothers. Because you never know where you're going to find the next superstar and, what happens next. But, I mean, to say WWE needs to rebuild in 2004 would be an understatement, to be honest with you. It would be an understatement. It would be the understatement of the year, in my opinion, to say WWE needs to rebuild in 2004. This is also the first time in quite a while that Rob Van Dam is not defending the world title on a show. I mean, the Intercontinental title, I should say. That he's not defending the Intercontinental title on a show. Because 90% of the time, I let Rob Van Dam defend the Intercontinental title in pretty much any match he has. But now I'm setting the Intercontinental title aside. I'm putting a pin in it and saying Test is the next challenger for the Intercontinental title, one way or the other. And it's just a matter of if I want to have the match at SummerSlam or if I want to have the match at Unforgiven. One way or the other, Edge, Test will be the next challenger for the Intercontinental title. And of course, I have now some some talent from OVW up on the main roster with the idea of trying them out to see if they're capable of moving up. And Johnny Jeter, I do believe, gets his first win on the main roster against Jack Evans, and Nick Dinsmore's on the other side going against Tommy Dreamer. It just so happens that Johnny and Nick are the OVW Southern Tag Team Champions right now. And basically, one Nick Dinsmore turned heel, Johnny Jeter's still a babyface, and I am very skeptical about keeping him the tag team champions. And I'm basically testing the waters to see if they're ready. I think Nick might be, but I'm not sure that Johnny is yet. But I also don't know if it's better off just waiting for right now and seeing if I could figure out some way to use them when I get to the main roster, or when I get to the main roster, as opposed to just making them cannon fodder for the for enhancement talent. But we'll see what happens. A perfect way to start off the broadcast with Ric Flair and Chris Jericho. And of course, you say, well, why didn't Ric Flair just get a title shot tonight? Well, I didn't want the angle to be a one and done. I wanted it to be something that develops over the course of time, because also Ric Flair was busy doing shit with Batista, doing shit with Randy Orton tonight, so he couldn't focus on a world title match. And also, maybe Ric Flair will be the one that challenges Chris Jericho at SummerSlam, because the fact of the matter is, Triple H can't challenge him alone anymore because they have bad chemistry, which I would say is not necessarily the most unrealistic thing. Triple H did have better chemistry with other people. I really hope Maven did not just get the injury that kept William Regal out of action for the better part of a year, because Billy Gunn and Maven both were a part of or have been a part of the rebuilt tag team division. So the idea of losing Maven for any extended period of time after just sending Val Venus to rehab, then I would be down to Thuggin' and Buggin' and the Dudley Boys, and that's it. So Raw's tag team division would be in desperate need of some help. And I gotta scrap this segment now. I gotta scrap this segment now. Maybe we scrap it and I got an idea. Finds a distraught Billy Gunn backstage. And Billy takes exception. Do I want it to be an angle? Dobbins and the Dudleys are done. No. Yes. Right now it's going to be penciled in on Heat, because Heat needs stuff. Billy takes exception to Chuck just sustained an injury earlier in the night. It's like one of those cases you don't even, offering condolences while the body's still warm. You know what I mean? And of course, Thuggin and Buggin are still regaining momentum. I figured that the reason why I wanted Mark Henry and Rodney Mack to win is because it was more important for Thuggin and Buggin. It was more important for Thuggin and Buggin to regain some momentum than it was for than it was for than it was for what's his name to stay Billy and it was more important for that than it was for Billy and Maven. I don't know why it was so hard for me to remember the guy's name. For Billy and Maven to maintain an undefeated streak. And now I just got to go through and make sure Nick Dinsmore is not a road agent anymore. Because for whatever reason, instead of just eliminating him from being able to do that role, that's not enough. You actually got to go check and make sure that he's not managing any segments anymore. Otherwise, he's going to stay as a director in one of the segments or an agent in one of the segments. Hopefully, this makes Rico happy being a part of Raw. It's another little thing to throw in there to get some people on television because I said it before and I say it again. WWE needs to rebuild, and the only way to get the rebuild going is to actually give people an opportunity to be on TV and to give them opportunities like I gave to Test with Rob Van Dam that you give him opportunities that he wouldn't have gotten in a different position or that he wouldn't get in a different position. Still, somebody with the popularity level of Chase Stevens, and the one thing I would say is, um, the one thing I would say is that maybe I return back and include other people in that segment where Batista Pillmanizes Chase Stevens just to play with the rating a little bit. Mm, you know what? We'll stretch it out for next week because technically he didn't go too far. If he went further with it, maybe that would have been something that needed to have other people included. But because of the circumstances, I would say it didn't necessarily need to have people included. But this was actually Chase. Chase, I will look after the show, but Chase has been a part of Raw for God, probably almost 3 months, maybe back in May. And this is his first time being featured in a match on the main broadcast. He had been featured in segments on the main broadcast and matches on the pre-show, but this is his first time being featured in a segment on in multiple segments on the show, let alone a match. But this sets up Batista to do something. This sets up Batista to do something now and to have something and somewhere to go. So that's exactly what I wanted for Dave. And now Dusty and Randy's feud continues to get a little bit stretched out and a little bit stretched out and a little bit stretched out. Jeff Hardy gets his win back. I guess I shouldn't have put the segment there, but oh well. Shawn Michaels officially makes his decision, but at the pay per view, Vince McMahon warned HBK, do not, do not make this. Remember what decision you're making. You're going against Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and people don't last when I go against Mr. McMahon. The segment that I booked earlier to set up Chuck and Billy Gunn, and I actually have it now set where feuds that Velocity and SmackDown, Raw and Heat, it matches where, what show has what feud. I mean, I guess I probably shouldn't have expected anything more than that from Chad Dobbins, but maybe Shawn Michaels would have done better, but still, an 86 overall rating is not the worst. An 86 overall rating is not the worst thing in the world, to be honest with you. But also, we are off to England for Insurrection at the outset of August, as I do know that Insurrection was discontinued. Son of a gun. Billy Gunn loses his partner and then gets copped with steroids. It's like, what a shit week. Jeff Hardy's going to be a star. Thank you for telling me. The Hurricane has charisma. You should push him. And now Maven is injured. Let's go find out how long. But Sabu's back just in time to leave. And Eric Bischoff is back. And now I got to figure out what I want to do with Eric. Because backstage problems have been causing. Backstage problems are the reason why I. Holy moly. Yes.
And do you have your schedule yet after Saturday?
The 27th.
Oh, so you're off all next week?
No trucks for Christmas because they want the stuff there already.
Oh, geez. So you work Saturday and then you don't work again for
Oh well,
8
yeah.
days?
Yeah.
Or no, 10 days.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Next Thursday, Billy is working the jet game with that silver-haired guy bartender. So he's trying to pack the place. So we were gonna go down for the jet game if you want to go.
All right.
I texted Robbie too, but it looks like he probably has work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
give it to Dad now.
Mm-hmm. I am honestly dumbfounded with the amount of red marks here and the fact that we are still at 100%. I mean, I am dumbfounded. And it's some random ones too, like John Heidenreich and Rico, Chavo Guerrero and Billy Kidman, which actually might be because of Billy Kidman injuring Chavo with a concussion with the shooting star. RVD and Chris Jericho, William Regal and Eric. Well, actually, just some random ones here and there. It's like I don't I'm dumbfounded honestly, but I know that we made $11 million last month. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What? Okay, so Maven's out 2 months, so that's not that bad. Yeah, that's not that bad. Yeah, that's not that bad. Yeah, Maven's out 2 months. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But we made $11 million last month. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The fuck? We made $11 million last month? Like what? And looking at this, I'm trying to see if like if I start pushing John Cena, would that get start inching John Cena up top as the merch seller, merch seller, merch seller? And if I say, pick Christian, who's down here at number 30, 31, if I start pushing Christian, would that bring Christian up to another level? If I started pushing Bob Holly, you know what I mean? Like if I started featuring him more in a more prominent position on the show, would that change things? But you could tell with Taker's contract that is that Taker is got a specific contract different than Eddie Guerrero, where he has more of a merchandise cut. But the fact that Eddie is actually my top merch seller, maybe nets Eddie another title reign. Maybe it nets Eddie another title reign because Eddie is the top merch seller in the company. But we also got some small details to take care of. That being, Chase Stevens needs a time. Chase Stevens needs some time off. Um, huh. Well, first, I want to give you paid time off of just another week. Just another week. Chase, on the other hand, I don't necessarily need to give him time off because he's where he is. But at the same time, 1 week to focus, another week to build. And if I build it right, then maybe him and Petit. Let's go 3 weeks. Because right now, at this point, the focus is not supposed to be on Chase anymore. Chase is going to be pulled to the background. The focus is going to be shifted to Booker T, and Booker T and Batista are going to be the focus of the attention. And I can pencil them in. I think that based on the change that's going to happen after um, I think I'd rather pencil in 3 weeks. So 3 weeks would be August 2nd. Booker and Dave could be. Yeah, let's do it. This way they can be featured at SummerSlam as well. Also, the interesting note is the Dudley Boys versus World's Greatest in a battle for brand supremacy between the tag team divisions, because basically the Dudleys ran out of challengers, and World's Greatest ran out of challengers. So I'm using that as a way to build up a match between the two teams at SummerSlam, and basically well, for lack of a better word, it's just a way for me to shift the blame from the the top titles and build up some other people underneath the tag teams, the tag team division or within the tag team division, so I don't have the main focus being the Dudleys and World's Greatest, if that makes sense. And also I just want to point out two things before we shift over to a different game and wrap up the rest of this stream, and that is I sent both Ken Doan and Jet Taylor on excursion. Mike Mondo is probably next as far as being sent on excursion. I just don't know if I want to send Mike Mondo on excursion because he's a part of a tag team with Matt Hardy, and if there's one thing that I need, it's tag teams. And I can't just keep bringing in people like the Dobbins brothers where they come in, feud, and then dip. I need stability in the tag team division, especially if the inevitable thing is getting rid of Evolution and moving on from. I mean, yes, getting rid of Evolution would open up the idea of having, a more stable tag team division because you wouldn't have all the variations of Evolution polluting the tag team division. But I've done more to break up tag teams over the last couple of months than I have adding to the tag teams. And yes, I do have one waiting in the wings because I think I would say here the Damaja is on vacation and is actually coming back from his vacation very soon. And the Damaja is set to jump into a tag team with Mark Magnus after being brought after coming back from his vacation because it was a bit of a repackaging for the Damaja, who has been, for lack of a better word, floundering in his previous incarnation. And if you don't know who the Damaja is Danny Basham. So I basically repackaged both the Bashams, giving Doug the opportunity to become a champion and Danny the opportunity to find his way in another tag team. Also, I just have to note, when does she retire? She's retiring in August. She's retiring in August, so I need to make the move to get the title off of her. Yeah, I need to make the move to get the belt off of her. It's not going to be a long title reign for Jacqueline, but it wasn't going to be either way. It was just a wink and a nod to say thank you because she was retiring. And it was just something that I wanted to try and see if it worked. And now I may actually try it on Velocity with the Cruiserweight title to get the belt off Billy Kidman and onto somebody else, namely maybe a Nunzio or somebody lower down the card. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way, like I said, I just wanted to spotlight TEW for a bit, and then I was going to jump over to something else. The main thing is, I don't know if. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know if. I don't know where it's at with. I I don't know what my plan is with Stream Later. Honestly, it just really depends on what happens with Among Us, and I'm not very comfortable saying that Among Us is going to go one way or the other. So I don't really know what to expect with Among Us. And there is part of me that says I could go jump in and play WWE and go that route. But I don't really have a match that sticks out in my mind right now, partially because of all the partially because of the backlog, but I also know if there's any game that I have a backlog of more than WWE 2K, it is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 because that's all I've been recording. It feels like that's all I've been recording over the last couple of weeks, and or the last couple of days. And the fact of the matter is, I don't. I don't know. But what I do know is that I feel a lot better than I did, and I feel like I know what the right decision is, and I feel like I have a better understanding of the grander scheme of things. But the fact of the matter is, it's just the idea that sometimes I just let small pictures affect my bigger ideology of how I see things, or the bigger ideology of how I see things, and it's not, you know, I know it's not the healthiest way to do things, and I know it's a bad habit that I have. It is something that I'm trying to fix. It is something that I'm trying to break. But it would help if I knew where the deck was that I was looking for before coming here. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it didn't make much sense to come here.
Did you get it?
But that's where we have Benedict plays. As Benedict plays, is one of the main people, one of the main culprits as far as Tony Hawk tutorials. And somebody that I 100% would be able to show me where the deck is. Really? Really? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding. I see it from here. The deck is right there. Like, are you serious? That's all I had to do?
Let's nail it.
I feel like that's a lot simpler than it needed to be, or a lot hard. I made it a lot harder than it needed to be. But that's not surprising because I'm good at that. But yeah, I don't know what my plan is for stream tonight with Among Us, because Among Us doesn't necessarily. Oh wait, the thing's down already, isn't it? Or up already, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I always thought that this was the coolest thing and the most oddly satisfying thing you could do in this game. Or one of, at least, the most oddly satisfying things you could do. Go figure how I failed that. But we got some new deck. So let's go let's go continue on and see where we can go. Los Angeles we go. I know this is breaking up the tutorials and the breakdowns and all that nonsense, but we're not even at the point where, we're not even at the point where, we're not even at the point where, what's it called? We're not even at the point where um Los Angeles is the next one. I don't even know if I started doing the tutorials on the stream either. I mean, on the channel either. I don't know if the first video came up yet. But if not, surprise, I'm going to start doing the Tony Hawk 3 tutorials. You know, surprise, I'm going to start doing Tony Hawk 3 tutorials. If you didn't know already, well, now you know. Also, something I have started thinking about and have been debating back and forth over the last couple of days is maybe scaling back how often I stream on Twitch and stream on YouTube a little bit more. Because
Let's see you tear it up. Hey!
there it is. So we saw after the fact, and now you're seeing Tony Hawk skating during an earthquake. I guess that's something that you never thought you'd see. How long does the earthquake take? Help me! Wanna die? Help me! Up here! Please! Oh no! I don't wanna die! I wonder how intimidating would it be. I wonder how it would have been if instead of saying no, I don't want to die, it's like, no, don't get me down. I'm enjoying the view. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm enjoying the view. You know, like one of those things. Also, I just want to point out I will be posting videos on Christmas because I don't know if y'all know, but if you don't,
Let's see it.
you know, if you don't know, now you do. I actually, for the most part, record, in some cases, 2 or 3 videos a night. Like, I'll record like 5 or 6 videos in a day, but only the news videos end up being videos for that specific day, and half the other videos end up just being videos that I put up at a later date.
Let's see you.
So
Let's see you tear it up.
then the question becomes, I'm sorry, what?
Not going to cut
See your trick.
That's all I had to, that's the gap? That's so much easier than the Vario kickflip over the staircase. That is so much easier than the other one. Like Jiminy Christmas, that is so much easier. Okay, I heard you the first time. I'm ignoring you if you haven't, you know, gotten that. I'm ignoring that guy. You know, take some pictures. It feels so good being on this map and not having to do that same gap every time. Nah, I'm good. Think I should get the guy down? I think the guy belongs up there. Nothing like getting hit by a cop car. Avoiding the bad guys and getting hit by the good guys. Of course, I get up here right as the time expires. Funny how that works. I get up here just as time expires. Yeah, funny how that works. Well, if we're gonna go up there, might as well open up the secret passageway.
Let's see. Huh? What you got? Right on.
A lot more than you. I'm gonna go get you now. Relax, bro.
Let's see you.
The heck is up here then? Oh, E. Hi, E.
Let's see it.
Alright, alright, alright.
Help me! I'm here.
I did forget. I got distracted. I got distracted. What can I say? Hate to break it to you. Hate to break it to you. I kind of hoped that was just a disemboweled voice and not an actual person, because his wishes to not die are probably not met with much vigor after, you know, landing the way he did. Then again, if Triple H can do it,
Let's.
okay, it's nothing here. Secret passage that opened up when, you know, secret passage that opened up when you know, grind that thing over there. Which I actually didn't even know opened up until, well, I went up there. I am trying my best to 100% Tony Hawk 3.
Let's see it. That was sweet. Yo, let's see you bust something out.
Why do you sound so insincere? Yo, let's see you bust something out. I, of
Yo,
course, dove over where I was trying to go to.
Not doing it for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What you got?
What you got?
Yo,
I honestly love that guy. You know, being honest, I fucking love that guy. Okay, I just wanted to take a trip around for a sec. Look around and see what's left. And it is Skate, the 6 score, and... Oh, Skate and the 6 score.
let's
Alright.
see it.
I was gonna say why not let's take that to 6 score, but that's not really the ideal way to start. And the fact that I keep missing that grind is also
Killer.
not the ideal way to start.
Let's see you bust something out. That was sick.
Was it really? Or was it just eh? Was it okay?
Let's see you tear it up. Huh? What you got? Let's see it. Huh? What you got?
Huh? What you got? He's like one of those guys provoking you in a bar fight. Huh? What you got? Come on. What you gonna do? I just killed Tony Hawk. No, I just killed Tony Hawk. I just killed the pro skater. And I just killed my chances of getting 400,000 points. Let us now go this way and totally not mess up and butcher my hopes and
Let's see
my
you tear it up.
dreams.
Sweet.
I sound very depressing. Butcher my hopes and my dreams. But we got all the stat
Yo,
points,
let's see you bust something out.
which honestly really doesn't matter because you don't really get nothing for getting all the stat points, which is puzzling to me, but how the hell does that happen? How the hell does that happen? I don't know why I'm looking over there if the camera's over here. But
Okay, let's try this again.
oh, son of a gun. I know, trying to do too much. I know, trying to do too much. What can I say? I do think I may have figured out how to get T, though. No, that's not how you get it. Benedict plays. Yeah, fuck it, let's overcomplicate it. That's not how you do it.
Let's see you tear it up.
Certainly not how you do it. I wanted to grind that, not hit it the way I did, so go piss on a grape. Piss on a grape?
See you bust something out.
What type of
Yuck.
remark is that? Go piss on a grape. Alright. I don't really know how I'm supposed to react to that, but either way. Sorry, I thought they were ordering dinner, and I didn't respond to the text, but they're not. So nothing to worry about. We did really solid on that one combo, but we never really recouped the other one because I was not smart enough to turn back and go do the same combo twice.
Let's see you tear it up. Huh? What you got? That was killer.
And see, the funny thing is, I remember, um, I remember there being a way to get upstairs in that area.
Holy.
And the fact that I can't necessarily figure it out is bothering me to a degree. You know, for obvious reasons, because it's making me remember things, but I can't, you know, and it's like maybe it wasn't in this game. But it does seem like we may be hitting 300, 200,000, 300,000. I mean 400,000, we just hit 300,000.
Huh? What you got?
Look how slow he grinds, Jiminy Christmas.
CG real. CG. All right. Let's try real. Yo.
Thank the fucking Lord. Pardon my French.
Yo. Let's see you.
But thank the God above, and this time I actually did figure out how to get T. It was sitting in front of my face this entire time. I was not going to get that close and not actually get what I was looking for. Because it just wasn't going to happen. You know, it just wasn't going to happen.
Environments.
Is that not how you do it?
What you
I, of course, don't have it up anymore. But when in doubt, YouTube it is. That is something I should look into.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
though,
whatever.
you know, Underground and Underground 2 ain't working, that doesn't mean America's Wasteland. Because America's Wasteland is not necessarily a bad game. And yes, the tutorial actually did show me how to do it, which is this is the reason why, as I just get hit by a car, this is the reason why I wanted to make my own tutorials, is because I figured that if tutorials have helped me with Tony Hawk, then there's no reason why a tutorial can't help y'all with Tony Hawk too.
What you
Because I
got?
can't, I clearly can't be the only person still playing this game. You know what I mean? I clearly can't be the only person still playing this game.
Let's see you.
So, you know. There we go. We actually got T. It took us way too freaking long to understand how to get it. And I, of course, was trying to make it overcomplicated as to how we would get it. But now it's just getting the other ones. And moving on from there to Tokyo. And I will not actually do the cruise ship with Tony Hawk. I will save Tony Hawk's ending for Twitch because there is stuff that I can show on Twitch that is not welcomed on YouTube because it would give a copyright claim, and even if it's a I don't want to say a bogus copyright claim where nothing affects the
Let's see you
you
tear it up.
know that it doesn't directly affect the channel. It's still something that I could show on Twitch and not have it affect the stream. But then again, Twitch shows nonsense. Twitch gives nonsense just as much as YouTube does. But for actually for that, I may actually not be able to go through Tokyo, which is actually the case. So I think what we do is, from here, go back, see if there's any stat points that I'm missing,
One more time.
and we occupy the time like that as opposed to going to
Let's see you
Tokyo,
tear it up.
because well, I'm not saying I am definitely getting a gold medal the first time out in Tokyo with Tony Hawk, but all I'm saying is I just prefer it when I don't see copyright claim on a stream. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all it is. So I'm gonna jump back in and we're gonna go ahead and look to see if there's any outlying stat points with Tony Hawk. Which all I have to do, or maybe Dex or something like that, just to collect the reasonable collectibles. Because I do actually want to go back and do this with everybody else, just to try and 100% the game and get the most out of this game that I possibly can. Oh, well, we didn't even get it in Los Angeles, so back to Los Angeles we go. Now, because I thoroughly enjoy this game, and I know the easiest thing to do is to pull back and be like, well, okay. Still showing, the video's still showing where the stat points are. It's not showing where the deck is yet. I mean, had I known that, I would have actually, stuck here for a second or two, and am I gonna be a little miffed if it's in an easy spot like it was? Yeah. Wait, is it? No, that's where a stat point is. I think. What area have we not hit much
Yo, let's see you bust something up.
as far as... We haven't hit over here. I mean, I feel like everything's all new at Tony Hawk because there are some goals I've never actually done. Like, I don't remember doing the 1 foot judo or the 1 foot Japan. I don't remember doing that with anybody else. So I feel like it's just like different goals with Tony Hawk as opposed to the other guys. I knew it's different, but it's like, oh, there it is. Easy enough. Had I watched this before, it's actually right here. Right here on the traffic light.
Let's see you bust something up.
So we're just gonna skate around a bit. I don't know if this was in maybe a different variation of the game, but you could take an elevator up, and the elevator would bring you all the way up to the roof, and then you could jump up the roof and do like a crazy combo off the roof. Maybe the Xbox version of the game. Huh. Ironically enough, the Xbox is the only emulator that I actually haven't looked into. And it's like the questionable nature of that is the questionable nature of that is I'm playing currently. I'm playing a PS2 game on an Xbox controller. So the questionable nature of that is why of all the games of all the consoles that I could have looked into,
Let's see you tear it up. Yuck.
why is the Xbox the only console that I have not looked into? It's like, I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of like sort of nutty cuckoo that I didn't even think about that, because had I actually thought about it, then there are games either with maybe the PS3 that what that would be, would it be the Xbox 360 was with the PS3, or was the Xbox 360 with no, the Xbox One was the PS4, so Xbox 360 was PS3. So that maybe if the PS3 doesn't want to work, the Xbox 360 would work, and I could play games that are on the Xbox 360 on a PS3. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Let's see it.
Or like I could look
Yeah,
for
whatever.
Xbox variant of Tony Hawk, and not have to worry about the transference of the game. And it's like simple stuff like how I did. I have an Xbox controller. I'm playing on an Xbox controller right now. How I didn't think about playing. The fact that the Xbox controller is something. You know what I mean? Like how I didn't think about that. It's like it's crazy to me. You know. Again, easy enough. I probably would have seen it. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Looking for it or knowing it's there is easier than assuming, but it's a big combo from the outset, and I failed. Wait, where was it? Oh, it's right there. Oh, that's easy enough. I just gotta remember that it's there. Yeah, I don't remember that it's there. Yeah, that's about right. All I had to do was keep the grind going. That's all I had to do was keep the grind going. I guess all I had to do was not keep the grind going. All I had to do was actually you know can't believe I'm actually not gonna get can't believe I'm actually not gonna get this. Oh, thank God. It would have been embarrassing if I didn't get it. I mean, like, give me a break. Like, really? Like, all I had to do was, I, I mean, and it's just crazy to me that I never thought about the Xbox. I never thought about other games outside of the games that I've been playing. Well, other games, other games outside of Tony Hawk. I just, it's just never been. it just wasn't. It just wasn't my go-to. Okay, for once. We got 3 heats to get up to where the deck is. 3 heats to get up where the deck is. But some of these decks that I missed, like some of these decks that I missed. Go ahead, Bill. Ellie, it's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay. When you hear your cat gagging, it's the important thing is to make sure she's okay. Secondary thing is you were distracting me. The secondary thing is to clean up after her. Luckily it was just a hairball. Nothing crazy. So, unfortunately it was on my bed, but it was just a hairball. Of course, with how things were in... Thank you. I was gonna say, with how things were in... with how things were in... Yes.
It is that time of the week again.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
I guess. Pepperoni seems to be sufficing. You know what? Let's mix it up and go with sausage.
Or you want me to reach the other options and maybe go with something else?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
Is Dad with you?
He just left.
Uh,
Why?
Bailey threw up on my Bailey threw up on my bed, or I don't know if it was throw up. I haven't looked, but it was either throw up or maybe just a hairball.
That's not good.
I think it was just a hairball.
You want me to throw you up paper towels?
Well, I'll look and come down.
Yeah, and you and Dad are meeting Toy Girl Sunday night at the VFW to do the exchange.
Okay. Okay.
High five.
Well, see you in a bit.
Okay.
Bye. I don't stop stream just to make dinner plans. But I am going to have to wrap up stream soon because, well, I got to clean up after my cat because, like I said, either it was a hairball or throw up, one way or the other. I got to get off my bed because I don't know how I feel about sleeping with a cat throw up on my bed. But got to figure it out, so we'll see how it goes. And we're just going to play through this to expend a little bit more time. And you know what? Well, that would have worked out better. Could have worked out better if I tried. I couldn't have done that again if I tried. Let's go outside. Let's go outside because it's fun. It's always fun finding secret places in this game. Just Tony Hawk in general is fun. Is more fun when there's a secret to it. Who doesn't love jumping into the secret on the warehouse, or the secret area on the warehouse? How many times have I done that? A lot. And I'm not just talking about. I am just talking about here. That it seems like any. time I try and do that, I end up butchering it. And do you realize how low the score going to be? Hmm. I already got gold though, so that's what matters. You know what I mean? Wonder if Tony Hawk will be held responsible for the damage done to the skate park. I hear he's famous. Excuse me. So he should be held responsible. I mean, it is his. It is his game. Ah. Hang on, baby. Hang on, baby. I see it. I see it, baby. Hang on, baby. Just a minute. Let's see how much that improved. We finished in third place. But the 33, I mean, that's actually relatively decent to finish, be able to finish in third place. Should put a challenge on it to see if I could actually do all zeros. Like, you know, a zero, like end the run and just get a zero. What's up, Dust? You okay? You okay, baby? You okay? You're okay. You know, I should do it where where I try and get all zeros and see if I can actually see if I can actually still finish with still medal, to see if I can still medal. Um, I mean, challenging myself is always fun, but never always something that I think about, especially even in Tony Hawk games. But let me go check to see if there's any need for a cleanup. Let me go check to see if there's any need for a cleanup, and I will see you guys in the next video. I think, off the top of my head, videos are done for tonight, but we got a ton of videos coming up tomorrow. I think the count is 5. I want to say. Oh no, we got one more video coming out tonight. It is another update that is delayed because, of course, as my port keeps getting beaten up, in that case, it would be better to keep the port on the floor so it doesn't keep getting beaten up. But it is another delayed one on the Carlos Correa updates. Before, you know, Carlos Correa's already signed, Carlos Rodon is already signed, and the Mets 6-man rotation. But either way, it's coming up. It's coming up. You know, I have no way to predict when stuff is coming up. But again, I do believe the first Tony Hawk video will be actually. Well, actually, it's coming out next week. It's going to be Tony Hawk craziness next week with a lot of Tony Hawk 3 videos coming out on the channel. And of course, the addition or the balancing alongside with WWE's, with the WWE content. So I do hope you guys enjoy all that content, and I do hope you guys enjoy the stuff coming out the Yankees. I mean, the stuff coming out tomorrow with a mixture of TEW and WWE content, and of course, the news videos coming out as well. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you again for 285 subs on YouTube. Our stuff has not, like, our stuff has never been higher on this platform. our support, the amount of support that you guys have been given. There's Bailey. The amount of support that you guys have been given over the last couple months has been insane. I am so freaking grateful for it. I am so freaking grateful for it. Grateful for it. And I look forward to a full year of investing in YouTube. I look forward to a full year of moving forward. And, just figuring out what the future holds on this platform, because I firmly believe that at some point I could be looking at 1,000 and not 285. So I do appreciate the continued support, and I appreciate you guys really spending the time to, it doesn't matter how many videos you watch, how much time you spend. It doesn't matter if you just pop in and say hi, or just pop in and see what's going on out of curiosity. I do appreciate the opportunity to entertain you, and the fact that you're giving me the opportunity to and the opportunity to um the opportunity to just do what I love. So I very much appreciate that. And with that being said, just a little bit of an insight. We will do another stream before the end of the year, at least another stream before the end of the year. But as far as changing the outlook for YouTube and Twitch, I think that is something that I will address in 2023. So if until then, YouTube will be the backup plan. But if you are looking for me later tonight, I will be on my Twitch, wrestling_express, and I will be streaming Among Us. So if you're a fan of Among Us and you want to come and hang out, you're more than welcome to join us later tonight on Twitch to watch some Among Us. But with that being said, I do appreciate it once again.